Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke with Reverend Yutaka Yamada. Today being Thursday, the 6th of January, or the 4th of December in the 9th year of Chongyalguk. So let's begin by offering a bow to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Chariot, Kyombe, Paro. And let's recite our family pledge both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가족멘세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 번연탕을 찾아 번연의 찬조 이사인 지산천국과 전산천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 1. Our family, the owner of Chongyalguk, pledges to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven, the original ideal of creation, by centering on true love. Like to ask Barbara Von if she could offer the opening prayer, please.
Good morning, beloved Heavenly Parent. Please come, we ask that you come and join us here in beautiful Oceania and be with us as we open our hearts to Reverend Yutaka as he shares your word with us, Heavenly Parent. Please may we receive that deeply into our hearts and to prepare us and send us into the day. We're so grateful for being alive now, Heavenly Parent, with True Mother here amongst us and Heavenly Parent in Spirit World. And we really pray that we make full advantage of that wonderful blessing and that we support True Mother at every time, every point that we can, including this weekend for the prayer rally, Heavenly Parent. We will be there enthusiastically, and we're so grateful, Heavenly Parent, for this times. Please be with us all today as the beautiful family here in Belgrave recovers from COVID and from illness. And I really pray that spirits will be lifted by your heart, Heavenly Parent, and that the time they're sharing together will be a blessing in the end. Thank you again, Heavenly Parent, for everything that you do for us, for being with us, for being in our hearts. May our hearts constantly invite you to every moment of our day so that we can feel that deep connection that's so vital to our future, Heavenly Parent, and our building of Chongyalguk. Once again, please be with us today. I ask these things in my name, Barbara Lloyd, Central Blessed Family, and everybody else, Central Blessed Family here. Aju. Aju.
Thank you. And let's offer a warm welcome to Reverend Yutaka as he shares this morning. Thank you.
Morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you for coming to today's morning Hundoke. Today is also the beautiful morning. Let's put our sincere devotion and let's create the great day together with our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Thank you very much. So I'm update shortly about the Melbourne situation. So almost they are settled about this life. So sick person getting better, and even sick person, but it's not so much serious. So we are adjusting. And after 5 days of this situation happened, in the beginning, we are so much worried. Each person was so much worried about the situation because we don't know what is COVID. But now we adjusting, and each our second gen brothers and sisters, their heart also settled to accept the situation. So yesterday we have a gathering and prepare ourselves and to have a new start. Even they are separate a group. So now almost half and half. But through this gathering, we will think again and we will have a new start again. So anyway, our target is around next Tuesday. So around next Tuesday, then we will conclude everything. Then maybe next Wednesday, I think we will go back to the home or each place. So please also continuously pray for those second gen, our brother and sisters. So thank you for your support always. So this one is the second prayer rally for the salvation of the homeland. This Sunday, January 9 and 9:30 Korean time, 11:30 Sydney time, Trimada will organize and held this prayer rally for the salvation of the homeland. So this time period is really serious or important period. The Korean Peninsula, the providence of Korean Peninsula, which way this providence is going on. And also even whoever become the president, but important things is that this person can be united with Trimada and can be united with God's will, Heavenly Parents' will, and also the heaven's direction, and how heaven can guide this president and also this nation of Korea, even nation of North Korea together. That's why always we have to prepare and pray for these things. So in the international headquarters side, they are also really facing the difficult situation because these COVID cases. There is the plan to hold the World Summit from February 10 to 14. So this plan is will be carry on continuously, and they now try to invite even physically some head of states or member of parliament from each nation. But of course have to get the permission from Korean government, and also because of the COVID, really even the Korean side accepted to welcome the people, but also there is each nation's situation to send the head of states or top leader to Korea, right? That's why now really many kind of issue is there. So Dr. Yoon or really Tulmada really seriously thinking how to carry on this World Summit 2022 on February 10 to 14. So this is not only just a one nation situation. Already, this is beyond the nation, the world situation. So we have to pray and we have to really put the chance on to go the right way, which heaven is wishing, and also the will of God and will of God's providence. So really, this is the important period. So this Sunday, please join together and support for prayer for Korean Peninsula and this providence. So this Sunday is important. Please join together. Thank you. Today also, let's see the Trimada's anthology. Trimada's anthology. Yesterday, we are talking about the providence centering on 1945, how Trifada and how prepared Christianity, how the John the Baptist figure did their role and responsibility. And also among situation, I think Reverend John's question or some messages about Russia or North Korean government or China, what's happened, even the South Korean government accepted Trifada or John the Baptist figure accepted Trifada, right? I think. So this point, yesterday also I asked you the main lecturer in international headquarters, Reverend Yon, Dr. Yon's son, Dr. Yon's younger brother, he is the main leader. So I asked him about this situation. So he explained the internal preparation appear to external situation. So the United Nations actually was prepared for welcoming the second coming as the vehicle, as the really the supporting organization for second advent. So this is the providence. So United Nations will connect all Christianity and to offer this foundation to Messiah, and Messiah will work based on this foundation to fulfill the providence to the world level. That's why if in Korean Peninsula, there is a national level unity with Messiah. If national level, they accepted the Messiah, then based on this national foundation, even Soviet Union, Russia, or China, or Communist Party, even they try to do something, but it would not have been happened. So at that moment, still all government or all situation is under United Nations control, and the final decision, even any kind of decision, would have been decided under the United Nations. That's why in the Jesus time, if Israelites, Jesus, if they are united together, they can unite together with the national level of Jewish, and also they could enter to the Rome, and would be connected to the world level. Of course, there is many question, or there is many real situation, there is background story, or many things, but basically, he said, everything we are talking, this is kind of the situation of if, what you say, if something not happen, if something happen, right? So these things, actually, we don't know really what's happened. So he said, now mother is emphasizing more after two parents' holy wedding time period, more than past providence. That's why, of course, past situation we have to learn, we have to research also, but in the same time, we have to focus more after holy wedding, and also focus in the future, current providence, and also the future providence. So anyway, this is his message. And also he said, when we study the father's life, when we study the two parents' life course, then how we can conduct to our nations. So for example, we are studying about Kim Ben-mun. He is the very important John the Baptist figure in 1945 to rely on their national situation and national future. Then, who is like Kim Ben-mun person in each nation? And for example, who can give the strong influence to the nation? And who can be the person who will be connected to the influential person in each nation? And if the Father is here in our nations, what he will do now? So we are learning to the Father's life course, to the Mother's life course, then it should bring to our situation. So this is important. So those question is important. So I want to ask you this question. If you can have answer, I hope you can give any kind of comment. So in your nation, in Australia, New Zealand, Samoa, Fiji, Solomon Island, in your nation, who is this kind of the Kim Ben-mun's, the figures? Can you find someone like who have those similar role in your nation currently? Can you imagine, do you have some idea who is the similar role with Kim Ben-mun to connect to the government, connect to the top leader of religion or the national level in any nation? Do you have some idea? Or totally nobody?
Reverend Yutaka?
Yes, Reverend Seti?
Yeah, for Samoa.
Yes.
Yeah, been looking for such a person here.
Yes.
For me, at the moment, I'm working through Reverend Bismarck,
Mhm.
and for example, this recent election, when he was the peacemaker that pulled the two parties together,
Mhm.
when he knelt in front of the parliament and demanded that the two parties make peace. Well, not demanded, but he pleaded for both parties to make peace. So he has such a character, such a boldness. He's young. Also, his church is young. Is more like a rebel church, from the mainline church. As far as the mainline churches, I have approached the leaders of both Catholic and the mainline churches, and I don't see hope there. They're too much stuck in their systems. But I'm still looking, and I'm hoping that through Reverend Bismarck, and especially he has a television station, and he's gathering many pastors under his organization who are disillusioned with the mainline churches. So yeah, I'm following his progress with interest.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. Summer Providence. Yes, Reverend City. How about another nation, Australia, you can find? Yes, Mrs. Jacinta?
Yeah, I'm following a group called the Center for Public Christianity.
Mhm.
I think it's headed up by Tim Costello, the guy who is like a he's trying to make a central position between the left and right, and he's putting out intelligent articles on the media. So I've sort of subscribed, and I listen to them occasionally. I've got a very positive spin on obviously on Christianity, and they're also more seeing the necessity for social justice as well. So they're kind of standing in the middle there. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Oh, yes, good. Yes, thank you very much, Mrs.
Yeah.
Jacinta.
No worries.
Yes, and also I think for Australia, I think our mega churches, there's a couple of them, and spearheaded by Hillsong, they've had great influence in Australia and around the world, especially with younger people. I know that you've got your Catholics and Anglicans that have a voice to the government, but also Hillsong and really has an influence on youth. And I think because they sang at our rally, I've always had the plan to go see and talk to them. And I think Hillsong, I see them as being very Pentecostal, as exactly as our True Fathers. Early movements were very Pentecostal, and also they are open to listen. And so I think if they, I plan to go with a team of people to visit Hillsong and to visit the pastors there, and to really see if we can help them get involved in PCLC, because to me PCLC has opened the door as a vehicle of how we can approach major religious groups, and then hopefully through that they can fulfill their roles. That's
good. Yes, Hilson, thank you very much, Reverend John.
There's one commentator, a Christian commentator that is widely renowned in Australia. His name is Martin Iles. He's a theologian, and he is in charge of the Australian Christian leadership, a very large body of believers.
Okay, thank you. And Reverend Jeff?
Yeah, there are many sort of groups, you could say, that we are sort of connecting with, and just seeing how they are coming along Yeah, I understand what Seti said. There's a couple of Samoan groups that have broken away from the main line, thinking that the main line is only concerned about, I don't know, the church, but not about families. Anyway, they have their reason why they're broken away, but we are connecting to two of them, the Ratana group as well. Prophet Ratana was the one to bring Europeans and Maoris together. So we are connecting with them. Of course, as you know, our Sikh community. So there are different kind of groups that we are trying to sort of connect with and see each one, how we can bring them to understand, our mission. So yeah, there are different areas really. And as you know, we have the 8 pillars and all these things. So really multitasking to try to raise up, the different areas, to come to some sort of some might spur on and begin. We have a group even studying the divine principle, on a weekly basis. So yeah, anyway, there are different groups we are working with. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Reverend Bob McGuire in Melbourne is a bit of a tearaway breakaway guy. And
Okay.
so, yeah, both Barb and I are very interested in Bob McGuire's because he supports the underdogs, but he lives by what he says. He's a true man. So yeah, we're really happy about that.
Yes, that's great. Okay, thank you very much. So I think each nation, because through learning about True Parents Life Course, actually True Parents showing the model course, how we will do the God's providence together, because we don't know how to do, but Father and Mother is showing us. So if Father is here, surely similar things he will do. How to find the John the Baptist figures, how to educate and how to guide. That's why through learning, and if we can connect our national situation, and surely in each nation, there is God's providence. And there is a God's prepared person also. So important things is our point of view, how we have a concept, how we can try to find, how we can unite with really God's mindset, God's viewpoint in order to save the nation. This is very important, to save the nation, not only just our life, not only just our family life, our community life. Always our Heavenly Parents' wish is to save all the people. If we connect our mind, surely we can see those person and can develop the next step. So really, yesterday and today, we are sharing about those history during 1945, but this is very good message. Now already several persons share those persons' name. Then what we will do next? We can learn also the father's life or mother's life when he found John the Baptist figure. What was next his action? Father case, father went to this Kibbemun church more than 6 months, totally support. Went there from the morning earlier than another congregation and stay until the night. Then Johnson cleaning support continuously, then gain the trust and they change the spiritual world. So those process we can learn. And also our true mother now meeting the many kind of the John the Baptist figure in Africa, the Prophet Hadebe or several person, how really approaching. So we can learn and inherit next step and next step and next step. We can also pray together as the community. There is Samoa, there is really good person, we pray for that, New Zealand and several nations. Then our spiritual foundation go together. So anyway, really through learning of fathers and mothers course, and we can apply to our place and we can go together. So anyway, thank you for your comment and sharing. Really, those person is the influential person. Let's really make a plan together and that create to the next step. So thank you very much. So today also go to the Mother's Anthology. We are now talking about the Providence centering on 1945. Among today's humankind, has there ever been anyone who knew about God's heart and circumstances and wished to liberate him? Though heaven continued to educate the people of Israel, they failed to accept Jesus, with the result that they had to wander around for many years. So about the existence of God or God himself, how have people thought about God's existence? Some religion is thinking God is kind of the concept, or some religion is thinking God is, of course, absolute existence, but doesn't think God has the personality. Or some religion is thinking God is kind of the untouchable existence. When I talk with Muslim brothers, Muslim leaders, and I ask many things, what do you think about God? How about the relationship with God and you? Or why God created human beings? I ask many things to the Muslim leader, and he said, better not think so much about God. God is there. God is the creator. We are following God. So I'm not sure this is the perfect answer, some kind of the theory of Muslim, but one of person explained to me. So depends on the religion. Really, there are many kind of concept about God. So something, God is different, totally different dimension, totally different existence with our human beings. So how about the Christianity? Christianity is calling God is Heavenly Father. So Heavenly Father and human beings relationship is parents and child relationship or different relationship. As the mediator, there is Jesus. So Heavenly Father, Jesus, and human beings. So when we see the circumstances of the Heavenly Father, maybe Christianity level also is not reaching the perfect expectation, I think. That's why in each religion, they are talking, God is absolute, omniscient, omnipotent, and perfect beings. But how about God, which through parents introduced, through father and through mother is introducing God. But what kind of God through parents introduced? Through parents introduced, God is actually the gods of heart and gods of sadness and God of tears. So those new heart or new part to the parents is introducing us, and God is our heavenly parents. That's why Mother said, among today's humankind, has there ever been anyone who knew about God's heart and circumstances and wished to liberate him? Who really have thought about God's heart? People thought that do they think whether God have heart or not? God have sadness, suffering or not? So to the parents is opening, to the parents is sharing those real heart of God. That's why how people could recognize and understand of God's heart. This is really the essential or important point. However, Jesus' death on the cross set the condition by which the foundation of Christianity could be laid on this earth. So the history of Christianity continued for 2,000 years, and the foundation to receive the Lord of the Second Advent was finally prepared by 1945. However, those who were prepared failed to connect to true fathers. So we are continuously sharing. They are prepared by God, but they could not connect it to the Second Advent. by 1945. So we saw the providence. For a person to stand as the Lord of a nation, there must be citizens. Similarly, in realizing God's providence, the people who are following him need to fulfill their responsibility. However, when the Father came, his followers failed to fulfill their responsibility, leaving him no choice but to begin again from the bottommost part of hell. So when people will lead the God's providence, one side who will fulfill the responsibility is not enough. There is portion of responsibility, even big portion of responsibility, or even small portion of responsibility. That's why that in 1945, even I think after that, all the providence time period from 1945, 1960, 2000, 2020, even 2022, there are many kind of central figure or many providential figure is here. Father, even Father fulfill his portion of responsibility. Even true Mother fulfill the portion of responsibility. But another side, the John the Baptist figure or central figure could not fulfill portion of responsibility. Finally, God will could not be fulfilled. So even small responsibility or big things, but how we can realize and how we can fulfill each central figure, how each person could recognize and fulfill the things is really important. Kim Ben-mun, Ho Ho-bin, or several persons, if they could pray even short time, actually they could choose the right way. So there are many kinds of things. So if we find, for example, the John the Baptist figures in Samoa, the Reverend Bismarck, he's a really important person. We totally support. And if he stands as a central figure, then our supporting also important to let him choose the right decision. So ourselves, we have also the important role, and each person have an important role, and also to the father and to the mother is also important role. How we could recognize, how we will understand. That's why always we have to become the humble heart and sincerely pray. Heavenly Parents, really, what is your God wish? Sometimes it's easy. Maybe this is not God's will. Maybe this is not my style. Maybe this is not my way. I want to do this style. I want to do this way. But all the time, pray, ask God, and connect with God. This is really God's wish. This is really God's will. And if really God's say this is the God's will, then of course we can go. But all the time, our central motivation and central heart, this mind is coming from myself, coming from selfish mindedness, or coming from God's heart. Always link with God, connect with God, and also share with God. So this heart is really important things. So mother is continuously sharing those heart, so we can remind again and we can learn again. So I want to show only just one slide of Chon Song-kyung word also. This is the last part. Father said, God always takes the position of subject partner to those who dedicate their lives for a public purpose with loyal heart. So Father said, if I stand, God also stand together. If I shed tears, God also shed tears. If we have a burning heart, of course, through Heavenly Parents also have a burning heart. Always our feeling also together. God feeling also coming together. So God is those existence. So I will share this one, the last page. God is also the subject partner who, as the source of energy, provides us the energy to achieve these purposes. In this world, it is hard to find a partner with whom to work in order to fulfill the purpose of love. How happy we would be if God were our partner. Partnership with God would be better than with our parents, our siblings, our teachers, or anyone else who loves us. So Father is talking about the partner. When we go to the society, it's not easy to find a good partner. But what Father said, actually, God is our partner. This is really the greatest partner in the world, right? God is our partner. God is support. God becomes the source of energy. When we do for example, we now share the several person's name. We don't know clear plan, but when we try to think, try to make a plan with partner, with our God, God totally help, give the advice, give the knowledge or inspiration. So ask God and the counsel, get the counselor, counseling from God and advise God and go together with God as the partner. Then we can gain the energy, we can gain the inspiration or many kinds of idea. That's why Father is mentioning that. How happy we would be if God were our partner. So this is really great message, right? So God is our partner. So how we can work together, to love people together. So today we share about the mother's message and the father's message and Cheonsongkyung word. So how God He is, how those providence, how God is relating with ourselves. So this is a very important point. Today, there are many kinds of possibility. God prepared a lot of things. Even we stay in the house, even stay in one place because of COVID. But if we have a clear mind, surely there is a way and there is also guidance there of God. So let's create, let's find, and let's really share the happiness, the blessing to our brothers and sisters and our peoples. So really today is a great day. Thank you very much for once again to join this morning. Okay, let's have a time. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Reverend Yutaka. Thank you very much for sharing with us and helping us to see again more clearly the providence from God's perspective. It's some of the points you pointed out that are very true. The key victory is 1960, because that's when true parents are true parents, and the blessing began. The blessing and the change of blood lineage began. And history is truly made up of what if stories, as Reverend Yong, Dr. Yong's elder brother mentioned, the history is full of what ifs, but the reality is the what happened story. What really happened, because that's what we are living in. We're living in everything that happened. But the what if stories in the Bible and a lot of the divine principle, we often use the what if as the argument for some sort of introspection or some sort of analysis for us to think again. To me, the what if stories are the guide, are the possibilities for us to improve ourselves, so that when the what happened story actually happens, then we can stand up proud and say we were part of the what happened story. All of us are part of the what if story, because what if we did this, then that person would have changed. but what happens story is what we're living in. And sure, we can say right at the very beginning, what if Adam and Eve repented right there, and then Seth could have become the Messiah if Cain and Abel went a different way, but they didn't. So we have to move our focus really into what is happening now, and so that's very true. I mean, the key victory of the time of Christ was the fact that Jesus was born and he grew up and achieved the status of the Messiah. I mean, our true father, our true mother had to grow up to achieve the status of oneness with God so that they could make that key victory, move that one step further along to fulfilling God's plan, and that is to have one family. God needs us. That's the whole reason he created everything, and the main reason why we have responsibility, because it's still left to us to change or realize God's desire. There's a desire, there's a vision, there's a plan. So that's different from what ifs, because God sets everything up. But time and time again, we know in history that people keep failing because of our ignorance, because of our own lack of confidence within ourselves, so many different things. And so we have to use the guide of what ifs and be the people that stand up for God and true parents. And the other main thing that caught me during all of this was the wish to liberate God. Who in human history had the wish to liberate God? And obviously, our true parents represent people that wish to liberate God. And Jesus, of course, wished to liberate God. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stood on the cross. His desire was to liberate God's heart first, not as I will, but as thou wilt. That's how he prayed in Gethsemane. So his whole purpose was to satisfy God. And ultimately that meant sacrificing himself for us in spite of our own ignorance. And so let's use the guide of what ifs and make that into the what happens story, so that we can really be stand up as a community that's can be recorded in history as the people that brought the change that God wanted. So anyway, those are some of my reflections, and thank you, Reverend Yutaka, for sharing and really never giving up on pursuing the truth. Thank you. Who would like to make a comment? Yes, Doug, go ahead.
Yesterday, after I spoke, there was a little bit of a length on the coup and government. I was sitting in the kitchen and I was with Mary's brother, Johnny. We were listening to some Christmas music. And I was pondering how anyone can understand my perspective and talk about all of history. And I was feeling a little concerned that people just might not understand. And then I felt God's heart, and it came like a joy. I felt God was happy that I had the courage to express myself when other people might not understand it. I was making effort. And then I also, that was very affirming to me, and it was really a delicate love from God, a joy inside of me. It was almost like I didn't see it, but I could feel almost God dancing around the kitchen. And then I looked at Mary's brother, Johnny, with he has Down syndrome. And, it was not, I can't explain it any other way than to say family is love. So I wrote it down because it's hard to actually express it again. But I said, I was feeling to myself, he is not a guest. He is not just a relative or a visitor. or one of many I know. He is family, which is love. And I was looking at him with this deep love for him and happy to be in his presence and feeling his presence. For someone who has such limited capabilities, they're an integral part of God. And I was really very grateful to experience that kind of feeling yesterday. So it was a little bit in line with what I think you were saying, John. And thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. We got two people put their hands up. First actually was Mr. Roy and then Jeff after that. Okay.
Good morning, and thank you, Reverend Itaka, and even asking Reverend Young about this difficult question to answer. I have many Korean friends here, and so I think almost they are Christian, and so we can see Korean people are, I think, one of the most, I think, exciting Christian nation, Christian society. Then Mother said, Cain type of Christianity, who are very strongly believe Jesus himself come back with flesh somewhere, Israel, mountain Olive, and the people lift up in the sky, and then end of the world, the start thousand year kingdom, and actually to really understand or welcome or really believe second Messiah in the flesh is one of the most difficult things, especially in the Korean people, because I don't know, 99% people strongly believe Jesus come back in the flesh, believe. But I think not only logical, not only divine principle, I think early time of the Christian, our member, I think they felt through parents, personality, heart, pray, and lifestyle, and actually not only logical things, not only principle things. I think through parents, to father showed just 2 hour sleep and pray that tears come down from floor to downstairs, and also listen 2-3 days from one old ladies, and that kind of modern logic, I think, really truly incredible love heart, and that kind of substantial, it's for love to Father showed us. That's why, but we are getting online, and just we are talking, just we share ideas. It's this, I think this way, that way, but I think it is one of the really challenges. Really more than that, I think it's really. I think someone like Dad's families, someone looking after, some people. Some really, this is really time to really reflect deeply, or principle, or what happened, or if, but more than that, we truly, what was truly Father's life itself, then we could liberate ourselves. I feel that way.
Thank you, Mr. Rai. Thank you. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. Anyway, all around us, there are people kind of like growing and beginning to sprout up, because we are in a springtime. And So just to share one experience yesterday, one of my sort of missions is online Holy Community, which is through Facebook and connecting to different people and putting little words up, postings up, and because when people have interaction with those words, they can get some sort of spiritual growth, you can say, or in their understanding. But anyway, one old school friend that I lived with in boarding school, and we got into a lot of trouble together when we were in our teenage years. And even just before I joined the church, we were kind of good friends. And anyway, he sort of, I friended him and we friended each other. And he started liking some things I put. So this person was a very rebellious person when he was young. And he even went to prison for a few years. And so anyway, basically, I could see through his postings that he had come to believe in God. And so I just sort of said to him, maybe we should get together. So I hadn't met him for 40 years or so. And we met yesterday at a coffee shop. And wow, it was just a remarkable meeting. He was kind of at times shaking and crying because of the conversation. And he just felt he had to share things with me to liberate him of things he had suffered during his life. And even in those years when we were in boarding school, there was certain abuse and all kinds of things that went on, and he was suffering. Even though he was married for 21 years and then got divorced, he felt because he was so hurt and damaged in those years, it even caused his marriage to finally break up. So I sort of felt that we are in an amazing situation that we can hear people's almost confessions and liberate them. And so, yeah, I shared so many principled points with him, and he said, "Wow, that is so true." Even the fall of man and different things I was able to share with him. Anyway, he said we have to meet again. So, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing that God and the Spirit world are working everywhere. And the other point is that we also have a limited ability to take care of people. And I've realized that in my Christian prayer group this morning, one sister, she shared the fact that God prunes sometimes even good fruit or good branches that are still alive, to make the remaining fruit become bigger. And it's a little bit to do with what Reverend Yamada said even this morning. He said, who are those people you are kind of like, who are those big fruit, you could say, So anyway, there's a lot to do with this, but I realized that every fruit should become big, but it depends on the capacity of the trunk and the roots. And if we connect any fruit up to our true parents, they have the capacity to feed everyone. If a tree has got too many fruits and they become small, sometimes because the season is too dry or the roots are not big enough, but once we connect people to true parents, then they have that big root that can bring everybody to fruition because our capacity. So when I see some members with their own unique little mission, if they can connect to this whole group, then we can help feed a big group, especially when we bring them to true parents. Anyway, so yeah, life is full of amazing sproutings going on all around us. We have to water heaps. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone. Actually, time has come to that moment when we can all pray. And so let's enjoy our prayer together. And I'll just bring up the slide. Let's pray. Thank you. Arju, Arju, Arju. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
I like the springtime reference.
See you later.